Hi everybody, Kala and I are here with our super art supply of the week. We have Watercolor Warrior and we are super excited to show you this project today. It is one of my all-time favorites and it is perfect for spring. So Kala's gonna grab the examples that we created for you and we'll go over all the things that we need before we start. We are going to create paintings of cherry blossoms. And cherry blossoms are these beautiful light pink flowers that you see in springtime. We have some on the cover of this book. One of our favorite books right now is Spring for Sophie. And
my name's Sophie.
Oh yeah. And cherry blossoms are
Actually, my name's Kala.
Cherry blossoms are found on these really beautiful trees, and they are just a wonderful symbol of spring, especially in certain places like Washington, D.C. They are.
This in there?
Oh, please don't dip that in there. They are famous in Japan as well. And the art that we're creating today is actually made using straws. So we're going to use watered down paint. I'm going to ask you to stop blowing so that we can tell everyone what we need, please. Thank you. So you can use watercolor. I did one example with my watercolor palette, and I used the black watercolor paint and I used the red watercolor paint. Or if you have tempera paint, you can use that as well and water it down to create the branch, and then you can just use regular tempera paint without watering it down to make the flowers. And we're going to create the branch using our straw painting technique, and then we're going to create the flowers using our finger painting technique. Can you wait a moment, please, so that we can do this together? I know, I'm impatient today. So I'm going to hang these guys up, and we will get started. So Kala and I are going to use our tempera paints to create our cherry blossom trees today. And we used watercolor paper for our watercolor example. But thicker paper, cardstock, works great for tempera paint if you don't have watercolor paper.
I want mine to be pink.
So that is fine, but we need the brush to be just brown for now. So this is one of those projects where it's important for you to follow my directions, because if you don't, you could get paint in your mouth or on your body. Okay? Can you bear with me for today? So you need a container that you can mix some paint in. A plate or a tray that you can put some paint on if you're using tempera paint. If not, then you already have your paint in a tray here, and you'll just need a bowl to mix paint. You need some sort of cloth today, or paper towels for sure. Hey Cal, I would really like to do the lesson, but I can only do that if you're going to let me speak to our friends here. Okay? If you don't want to do this with me, you don't have to. You can go and find something to work on for a little bit. So we are going to, I cannot help you right now. I am in the middle of a video, and you can either join me or you can go find something to work on. We are not going to do markers right this minute unless you want to take them over into your space there. Okay? I am going to continue now.
I made that marker book at window.
We're not doing that right now. Okay, we are going to start with our brown paint. So you are either going to take your tempera paint or your watercolor. You're going to put a little bit of water in the bottom of your bowl or your container, and you're going to add the paint. I just added a little squirt of brown and mixed it up until I could see that the water was completely colored brown, or black if you're using black. But it's really thin and really watery still. Okay? And you need your straw as well. We're using bamboo straws because that's what we happen to have. Any straw will do. And we're going to start, and again, I'm going to be working here on the table, and I'm hoping you can see me okay. I'm going to start in one of the bottom corners. I like to start in the bottom left corner of my page for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the really watered down brown or black paints, and I'm going to make a little triangle shape in the corner of my page. It's going to be pretty wet. I'm going to make mine slightly less wet so that you can see it and it's not going to drip everywhere here. Okay, just like that. Long triangle pointed towards the middle of my page. Okay, Now I'm going to get my brush really wet with the brown or black paint again, and I'm going to dab it right at the top of that triangle. And it's not quite a triangle because it's a little thicker at the top. It doesn't quite come to a point. Okay? And I'll dab it so that there's a little puddle there at the top. Can you see where I'm pointing? It's a little darker. Now I'm ready for my straw. The trick with the straw is that you cannot suck in on the straw like you normally would. You are only blowing out. If you suck in, you're going to get paint in your mouth. Yuck. No good. But if you blow out and move your straw as you're blowing.
I accidentally colored up here.
That's okay. So what you want to do, Calla, is add some little puddles. So you see how I make a puddle of paint? Until you create branches.
How do I
like the branches of a tree. So I'm going to do it again. So I am going to take...
How do I create a puddle?
Watch me. So I'm going to take my paintbrush and get it really wet. And then I'm going to put it at the top of one of the branches I just created.
Mama, but I don't know how to make a puddle.
So you're dabbing water on your page in just one spot. And you want it to be really wet, like a puddle would be, full of water. Right? And once it's really wet and full of water, then you're going to blow through your straw and move the straw to move the paint. There you go. And you can keep going as long as there's wet. You want to get pretty close to the page. Yep. There you go. And when you feel like it's not going to move anymore, then you can put another puddle on your page. All right, so I'm going to move this puddle I've got. You can move your straw quickly, or you can move it fairly slowly, and that will give you a little more control over where your branches are going. If you start to feel lightheaded, like a little dizzy, you need to stop. And at least take a little bit of a break. Sometimes when you're really blowing hard through the straw, it makes you feel a little funny in your head. And we want to take a break if that happens. All right, so we're going to add some more branches. I'm going to make a puddle up here.
Oh, then I'm dizzy.
You're dizzy? All right.
I'm dizzy.
And you'll see there's some of my paint is coming off the page. That's why we need our cloth, so we can wipe up that little bit. All right, I'm going to show you mine. I'm going to add just a little more paint here in the middle, a puddle of paint, or to the side, I guess I should say. And
I used to know how to cut paper with this thing.
okay. So I did that fairly quickly because I've done this many times and have quite a bit of practice, but it does take some practice. So if you try it once, and you feel like you're just starting to get a handle on how to move the straw and blow the paint around, then you can certainly try again to get it looking like a tree branch, because it's a little tricky to get it going that way. Do you want to make more branches, Cal, or are you feeling done? Yeah? Would you like some help with it? So let's add a little more liquid, because that's going to make it easier for you. The wetter your little puddle is, the easier it is. So now you can blow. There you go. And you want to move the straw in the direction you want it to go. Probably should have put your hair up, huh? So can I help you move it?
All done.
All done. There we go. All right, we're ready. So I'm going to hold mine up so you can see. I have a tree. It's thicker at the bottom where we created our triangle, and then there's lots of branches coming off the top. Okay. Now we're ready. You want to wait so you can hear how we're going to do the next part? Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do is use our pink and red paint, or if you're using your watercolor palette, you can just use regular red paint. And we're going to put a little bit on a plate or a tray. So we chose to use a little bit of white and a little bit of red here. Calla mixed hers up to make pink. I left my white and red next to each other, but separate.
And I love pink.
There's the truth. And I'm going to use my pointer finger, and I'm going to dip it in the paint, just a little bit. So I have just a little bit on the tip of my finger, and it's kind of pink, because I'm dipping it right in the middle of the white and red. And I dab it a couple times so it's not too thick on my finger, just a little. And then I'm going to pick a spot for my first flower. And I think what I'm going to do is hold it up so that you can see. I'm going to pick right here at the end of this branch, little branch. And I'm going to dab once, right next to that dot twice.
I'm going to use some of these. For a minute.
See how I have those two right there? And then I'm going to dab again on the opposite sides
Mama, I need
of
some green.
those dots so that there are 4
Mama,
dots
I'm gonna make some grass.
together
So I need some green.
to make a flower. Now I'm going to create those flowers with the 4 petals all over my tree branch. You can make as many or as few as you would like. I'm going to dab my finger in my paint again. I'm going to make my 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. I'll do it a few more times and then I'll hold it up so that you can see. I try to put my dots at the end of a bunch of my branches, and then I'll go back in and decide if I want more of my flowers, dot flowers, towards the inside of my tree branch. The watercolor, if you are using that, what you want to do is add some water to your red paint, and you're going to do the same thing with your finger. You're just going to dab it in there lightly, and you're going to make your 4 dots close together to create the petals of your flower. Oh, you're doing grass too. Nice. All right, so I'm going all the way around.
You can do grass if you want to.
Yes, so I really like this painting, keeping it simple and just doing the branches with the flowers. If we look...
Mama, oopsie.
Oh, bummer. I don't know why he was on the table, Cal.
Mama, how come green's on me? I didn't put any fingers there.
Okay, we're going to roll these sleeves up. Let's turn that around so you can get to it easily without it being in front of your sleeves. Okay. There we go. All right, and I'm going to dab a couple more here. 2, 3, 4. Dab my finger 1, 2, 3, 4 times. All right. And I'm going to hold this up for you to check it out. And there is our cherry blossom tree. If you were to look at some Japanese paintings, and I could not find any in my books, and I didn't print any out, but you would see that this is really similar to how Japanese cherry blossom paintings look if you look at some ancient Japanese art, and that's another reason that I love this art form. Yeah, it's a very fun project. You can add some more details if you'd like Calla did, or you can just leave it nice and simple, your branch with your cherry blossoms. It's a beautiful piece of spring art. Calla would like to share hers, and then that's all we have for today. Our lesson is a little bit shorter. You ready?
I just need to do a few more cherry blossoms.
Okay. Tomorrow we'll be back with another project, and the rest of this week we're going to need a few other things for some of our projects this week, like crayons and a plastic shopping bag. And we will need a straw again on Friday for our project on Friday. All right, my friends, let's show everybody what you got.
Who's that? Some blue sky. Blue sky.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And there is Calla's cherry blossom artwork.
What?
With a sky and grass to match. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy the sunshine, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.